We're not sure if Bob's going to get airborne, but we hope that you'll enjoy this ground demo of our Model D. She normally hangs out inside our World War I hangar. It's quite a sight to behold when she does take to the sky. You'll note distinctive ailerons between the spans of the wings. This was the hallmark of Curtiss and what enabled him, the man himself, the eponymous founder of the Curtiss Company, to circumvent the patents of the Wright brothers. It was quite contentious, as a matter of fact, because the Wright brothers had patented their wing warping technology, which they used for control and stability of their Wright flyers. Glenn Curtiss managed to get around it by essentially creating the aileron, which we now know to be the more common mode for control of aircraft. Of course, there are things like flaperons and various other systems that have been developed in the years since. But in 1910, the aileron was king, and the king of the skies was Glenn Curtiss, and it was his pilot, Eugene Ely, who made the first shocks away. You can see the tail wheel swinging around, canopy open. Mr. Ganucci taxiing out onto the runway. You can see the fangs of the P-40 bared, either shark's teeth or tiger's teeth, and cinch sheaths with the AVG. We'll say it's the teeth of the flying tigers that are being bared today here at the Military Aviation Museum. To see our Model D on the roll and a little bit, grabbing a little bit of sky, a brief hop.
That's probably why they don't fly it too much.
Today we're launching from our grass runway. Here she goes, the P-40 of the MAM. Prior to the attack, the Japanese attack on the Pearl Harbor, flying tigers. But of course, flying with the AVG, this organization was outside of the purview of the United States Armed Services. It received a $500 bonus for each plane shot down as a member of the AVG. It should be remarked that this particular sample, the museum's own P-40, as we said, restored to the appearance of Tex Hill's own aircraft. Tex Hill, before he passed you, remember Tex Hill, to commemorate his service, the service of all of the members of the AVG, and to remember the P-40 is a plane that got America off the ground in 1941, and even enabled the United States to provide some assistance overseas to our allies before we formally entered the conflict following the Japanese at 6, taking up pride of place as the cornerstone of the collection at the Military Aviation Museum. The key features of the P-40 Warhawk include, when compared with other airplanes of the day, it has fully retractable landing gear. It is of all metal construction, with the exceptions of flight control surfaces, which are covered in fabric. So Mr. Ganucci is exercising those fabric control surfaces at this moment. We're going to have a little trouble getting him to come down because I think he's having too much fun. Can you blame him? And if you look closely at a slightly lower altitude, you can see some genuine hawks rubbing elbows with this Warhawk of yesteryear. Feathered friends, if you will, and our Warhawk spreading its wings for the first time in quite a while here at the MAM. A beautiful day. We hope the German Air Force was still operating biplanes built by Heinkel. The Italian Air Force was still flying biplanes built by Fiat. Of these biplane fighters that were effectively seeing the end of days. in terms of their primacy as weapons of war. There were not the strategic bomber forces flying at altitudes well above 25,000 feet that needed to be countered in those other areas of engagement. And so the P-40 would go on to serve through to the end of the Second World War and even a little bit after. Flaps down, gear down, Mr. Ganucci coming down on finals, touching down at the Military Aviation Museum's grass runway. Here he comes, on a roll. Puff of dust, and a gentle settling of the tail wheel. Yes, please, a round of applause for Mr. Mark Ganucci, veteran of the United States. A round of applause again for Mr. Mark Ganucci in a way that he passes by. He's making that S pattern on our runway because the great engine, that Allison V12, obscures his forward view. So he has to look from side to side and able to go in a straight line. And it's not really all that straight at all, but we won't hold it against him. So as Mr. Ganucci makes his way back to the ramp, we're coming up on 11 o'clock.